This is the take-home prep for number 14. So this question number 7 you see is not the exact question from take-home 14, but it's the exact same concept, just some different numbers. And you can pause this at any time, you can rewind. I am going to go fairly fast because I assume that if you have a calculator, you can do some of these calculations to keep up. What we're going to do here is a blueprint question, and anytime you see the scale of a blueprint, this means every little quarter inch on the blueprint is really 4 feet in real life. So we're going to use that scale as our first fact, fills in the first half of our proportion, and then down here that 3 by 5 inches represents like a length and a width of a room, so we have to convert each of them separately. Since the quarter is an inch and the 4 represents feet, let's start with that 3 inches. We'll put it up top, and we don't know how big that's going to be on the actual building, so we'll call that X, one of our mystery numbers, and we're going to set up almost an identical proportion. We're still going to use that 1/4 over 4. So again, that scale, always going to be your first fact, but this time we got to convert that 5 inches. So we'll call the bottom there, I'll just call it Y, something different. If you cross multiply these, 3 times 4 gives you a 12, and that's going to be equal to 1/4 X. And since 1/4 and X are multiplied together, the inverse would be to divide. And you might be surprised when you see an answer of 48, but 12 divided by 1/4, if you think of it like money, means how many quarters go into $12. And there's quite a few. It would actually be 48. On the other side, similar process, 4 times 5 is 20. But this time, instead of 1/4 times X, we have 1/4 times Y, just represents a different number. And we're still going to divide by 1/4. So as you can see in a blueprint problem, all of the work is very similar. Here you get that second mystery number is equal to 20 divided by a quarter. In this case, it's 80. You could either do your keep change multiplicative inverse, or think of how many quarters go into $20. So your final answer here, what are the dimensions? 48 feet by 80 feet. And that would be the dimensions of the actual size. So now that you've got this work written down, use this to help you with number 7 on the actual take-home. Number 8, here it says a football player carried the ball 5 times in a row. On the first carry, he gained 4 yards. On the second, he lost 9. On the third, he gained 21. On his fourth carry, he lost 14. And on the last carry, he lost 5 yards. So we have to write an addition expression, that's important, to illustrate the situation, then solve the expression. Explain what your answer means. So here you notice there was 5 carries. 5 isn't an amount of yardage. We're not going to add that in, but the 5 is just telling you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different yardages that this running back carried. So let me just get those circles gone, and we have to set up an adding equation. So every positive, you're just going to treat it as a gain, and all the ones where it's a loss, you're going to treat those as a negative. So we'll say 4 plus -9, that represents a loss of 9 yards. He gained 21, so plus 21. Lost 14, so we're going to add a -14 in. And lastly, he lost 5, so we'll add in a -5. Now, the easiest way to do this is if they're the same sign, such as the 4 and the 21, we can just add those up to make a positive 25. And here you have all those negatives we'll take a look at second. You have a 9, a 14, and a 5. Well, 9 and 5 makes 14, so add that to another 14, and we have a -28. Now you have opposite signs, which means we subtract, and 25 and 28, the difference is 3. And since we have more negatives than positives, our final answer is -3. Well, what does that answer mean? This means that the player lost 3 yards. And I'm sorry, the writing's a little glitchy here tonight. Player lost 3 yards. So it's very important we answered everything the question was asking. So use this to help you with the actual question number 8, and hopefully you'll do a great job on this take-home.